Hey y'all, Jim with Country Diggers here. Today's video is going to be the second part of Pirates of the Florida Coast. Truths, Legends, and Myths by Robert Jacobs. This second half is the Spanish Main. It's the second chapter in it. Hope y'all enjoy. The Spanish Main. Before we get into all the details of the pirates and privateers who raided or operated along Florida's coast, we must first understand how the Spanish established colonies in America. Spanish colonization of America began with Christopher Columbus's second voyage in 1494. He claimed the island of Hispaniola for Spain. This island is known today as the Dominican Republic and Haiti. His brother Bartholomew established the capital city of Santo Domingo in 1496 and served as governor. The Treaty of Torcellos, signed by Spain and Portugal in 1497, drew an imaginary line around the world and granted Spain a total monopoly on trade west of that line in the Atlantic Ocean. The Spanish considered the Caribbean to be their own personal sea and North America as their rightful territory. 1500 to 1600, the Spanish control of the Caribbean with well-established colonies in Mexico and in Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Trinidad, and many of the smaller islands. The capital of the Spanish Caribbean remained Santo Domingo from 1496 to the early 19th century. The port city of Havana on the island of Cuba was established as the main seaport, where all valuables from the Caribbean would be exported back to Spain. Additional seaports were established to connect their empire. These included Veracruz in Mexico, Maracaibo in Venezuela, and two ports, Portobelo and Nombre de Dios on the Caribbean side of the Isthmus of Panama. Hope I'm saying these words right. I know I'm not. But in the Pacific, the primary ports were the city of Panama, and on the Pacific side of the Isthmus and Acapulco along the Mexican coast. By the 1570s, a regular treasure route was established to take the riches from their colonies to the New World and from their colonies in the Pacific back to Spain. Hernan Cortez conquered the Aztecs of Mexico in 1521. Francisco Pizarro conquered the Incas of Peru in 1536. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi founded the first Spanish settlement in the Philippines in 1565 and later established Manila as the capital of the Spanish East Indies in 1571. Throughout the year, huge amounts of gold and precious jewels plundered from the Aztecs were sent to Veracruz and then shipped to Santo Domingo. At the same time, valuable commodities from Venezuela and Colombia would also be shipped to Santo Domingo from the port of Maracaibo. On the Pacific side, vast amounts of gold and silver were either taken from the Incas or mined by slave labor. Those riches would be sent by ship to Panama on a regular basis. Meanwhile, riches such as pearls, spices, and other highly valuable commodities from their colonies in the Philippines were shipped across the Pacific Ocean to Acapulco on board treasure ships known as Manila galleons, and then sent on to the city of Panama. All the riches from the Pacific and from South America that accumulated in the city of Panama were then carried across the isthmus of Panama by well-guarded mule caravans to either Nombre de Dios or Portobello on the Caribbean side. From there, the riches were shipped to Santo Domingo as the capital city of the Spanish Caribbean. Santo Domingo received all these riches for processing and accounting before transportation back to Spain. Once all the paperwork was completed, the valuables were sent to Havana, where they remained in storage until it was time for the yearly treasure fleet to sail. Once a year, a huge treasure fleet containing all these riches that had been accumulating throughout the year departed Havana and made the perilous journey back to Spain. After leaving Havana, the fleet sailed past the Florida Keys, then north through the Florida Straits and along the east coast of Florida. Once reaching the trade winds, the fleet turned eastward and crossed the Atlantic back to Spain. Now, 1570s through 1821, yearly Spanish fleets sail from Havana to Spain. The Florida Straits connect the Gulf of Mexico to the Atlantic Ocean and is located between Florida, including the Keys, and Cuba and the Bahama Islands. The Gulf Stream is a 75-mile wide current that forms just off of Cancun and then flows north almost to New Orleans, back down to Havana, then up through the Florida Straits, all at about the speed of a human walking. It maintains this speed beyond Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, where it veers off to the northeast and eventually dissipates in the North Atlantic. It is a 4,000-mile river in the ocean. Because the large treasure fleet was well armed, pirates and privateers were seldom a concern. The real threat came from hurricanes, which are common along the Florida coast from May to October. A storm like that could quickly destroy an entire fleet, and many Spanish ships were lost during this time, the most famous being the Nuestra Señora de Atocha, which sank off Key West, Florida in 1622. All right. Hope y'all enjoyed that, and see you back soon with Chapter 3. All right.